Welcome to Uncanny X-Minutes, where we bring you the comics behind the movies. I'm Stasia.
I'm Producer James.
And we're here to talk about the Wolverine, minutes 50 through 60. James, would you like to tell me what happened?
Yes, I will tell you what happens. Wolverine gets patched up by a veterinarian and hides out in a small town with Mariko, and Viper meets up with Harada, and she poisons him.
We're going to talk about Viper. I'm so excited because this character, I thought that she made more appearances. There's so much that is like, there are characters that are just like in my head that I know that I think are like bigger deals. And then you are like, wait, no, I've like looked at every available comic that exists like through Unlimited for this character. And like, it's actually not that many, but she's also kind of similar. So I'm really excited to talk about this kind of, I don't know, other villain that is like, weirdly, I would argue, not really an X-Men villain.
That's what I was about to say. When watching this movie, I was like, okay, Viper, sure, right. In my head, I was like, isn't that Madame Hydra? And I was like, but wait a minute, if it's Madame Hydra, what? I don't remember it being, I didn't see her as an X-Men villain. Like when the movie came out, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm just missing some Claremont stuff. That's it.
Yeah. No, not really. I mean, like...
Yes, but
yes and no. Yeah. Viper is Madame Hydra. She's also known as the Princess of Madripoor.
Okay.
Also the Prince of Madripoor, though I do think that that's a typo, but I had to write it down because that is technically another name.
Maybe it's the other Viper.
Maybe.
Well, I'll get into that.
It's not. It's definitely about her.
That's it.
But
Okay.
there's also, she's also referred to as like the Pirate Princess. Basically, Viper is this character that shows up in Madripoor primarily, except when it comes to Wolverine. And then she's in Japan a whole lot.
Hanging out with a silver samurai.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say that she is a character that like I thought wasn't like is not an X-Men person. And actually I would argue that that's still true because I think a lot of her appearance, if not equal to, it's almost as many in X-Men comics are actually in other series in the Marvel Universe, which is not usually true for like X-Men villains like this.
No, at least not when you would put in an X-Men movie.
For sure. Yeah. It feels like a weird crossover.
Yeah, I feel like you could have used somebody else for this role.
Yeah, absolutely. I know her only from X-Men. So I'm just going to give you like my perspective on like who this character is and like what I know from an X-Men like subset, right? Which is that she's associated with, like you said, she's been a Hydra agent before. I only know that because it's been referenced to in the X-Men comics. They talk about it.
Yeah.
She is also associated a lot with the Serpent Society. She has the ability to poison people. And she's also like very similar to anybody that appeared in that X-Men run with miniseries with Wolverine and Kitty Pryde, basically, and like has ninja powers also. Very Black Widow-esque, like this kind of like jumpsuit, you know, kicking people, like kind of like stealthy, but also like ninja-esque. She also has some other... The poisoning is really interesting because I've seen her in some comics and there's like a particular run, which I find really fun, where she uses poison to mind control people. That is a power that she has and has been in the comics, which I think is kind of fun, but they kind of pick that up and drop that completely as needed. That is not, I would say that's not a core part of her power. I think what's like more interesting is her ability to like manipulate and control. Like they kind of move her to this character that is Madripoor. We actually probably should explain that because I don't know if we've probably talked about it but haven't explained it.
I feel like we have, but it doesn't hurt to give a little refresher. Yeah,
it's like this. Yeah, just like super quick refresher. Madripoor is kind of like, I think how they call her, a pirate princess, is like a really good descriptor of it. It's like a city that's run by like both like pirates and outlaws and things like that, but also extremely wealthy because like, so there's like high town and low town, and like the city itself is like purely run by like money and mercenaries, and like it is a hot spot for when characters need to hide out. Like Emma Frost spends a lot of time there. So as Wolverine. Any of the anybody actually associated with the Hellfire Club probably has been in Madripoor.
For sure.
That is really that kind of their vibe. So just to have that's like where she excels. Like she's like the underbelly, but also is the ruler of it. So like that's kind of her persona, right? It's like it's really hard to be somebody who's in control of all of these uncontrollable people, and Viper does that. And so that tells you a lot about like how they position her.
Yeah. I read a lot in research for this, because like I feel like she's popped in randomly in different comics, and it's usually not X-Men ones if I recall like most of the time when I see her. And so I was like, all right, I like to see where does she start out at, and that is in Captain America 110 in 1969, created by Jim Steranko.
Okay.
So this is some early stuff, but here's the kicker though. She just kind of keeps popping in like once a decade. Like she's not someone who is used a whole ton. So in her first appearance, she is Madame Hydra. Straight up. She is leading Hydra, and it is in a Captain America comic. And this is an interesting Captain America comic because do you know who Rick Jones is?
No, I do not.
So Rick Jones is Incredible Hulk's like sidekick.
Okay.
Rick Jones is the guy that Bruce Banner saves during the bomb test that creates the Hulk.
Got it. Okay.
So Rick Jones kind of feels beholden to help the Hulk out as much as he can. Captain America has a run-in with the Hulk, and then for some reason, yada, 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 I'm not going to get into it, Rick Jones becomes the new Bucky in this comic book. Like, he dons the costume, and he wants to help out Captain America. So we have Rick Jones as Bucky Barnes. We also have... I don't read a ton of Captain America, so I find this fascinating. There was a point where he had revealed he was Steve Rogers.
Okay.
So people did not know Captain America was Steve Rogers. So he revealed Madame Hydra shot at him like falling off a building, and when they went to go find the body, all they found was a Steve Rogers mask. So it was like a mask that Captain America planted to get people off of the scent that he was Steve Rogers.
Okay.
All right. Just some wild stuff going on here. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
But a couple of things. First off, in her first appearance, she says she has half of her face scarred because like one of her, if you were to describe her, one of the things is her hair is always over half of her face for the most part.
Yeah.
And in this one, they're like, oh, it's from a childhood incident. That never comes up again that I read.
No, never. Not even in the newer stuff. Like, I think if you look at pictures of how people draw Viper now, none of that remains. Her hair's not even in her face anymore, really.
No.
So,
and this is for most of this, black hair, not green.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yes. Okay. So she's defeated in this issue. It doesn't really matter all the details, but it's like she died. She was like, I mean, she's part of Hydra. It feels like more in a terrorist situation. Okay. And when she died, it was more of like, well, I can't get out of this, so I'm going to take them down with me. Then she shows up again in Captain America 180. So 70 issues later. This is where she rescues Viper from the Serpent Society. Actually, Serpent Squad at the time.
Okay.
Breaks him out of jail. And then kills him and assumes his name.
Okay, so there was a guy whose name was Viper.
There's an original Viper.
Huh.
And
okay.
she ends up taking him, like killing him, changing her outfit to match more of what he was wearing, and then use the Serpent Squad, not Society, in this set of issues.
Is this when she starts getting green?
Her outfit's green, her hair is not.
But hair's still not green. Okay, good to know.
Hair is still black. And we get a retcon that the Space Phantom assumed her form right before she died, and she was like housed in limbo.
Oh, not okay. What, like official limbo?
I don't think it's X-Men limbo.
Okay, I'm just checking.
I don't think so, but like it's hard because it's like, you know, unless you actually see it and they reference it, it's hard to tell whether what kind of. I'm assuming no, but I guess it really doesn't matter if it was or not. Anyway, so we've already retconned her one death. In this issue, Captain America also becomes the Nomad.
Okay.
So this is one of the times that he has decided he doesn't want to be Captain America anymore, but he doesn't not want to fight crime.
Yeah, because America's been really embarrassing. I get it.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I remember that.
So have you ever seen have you ever seen the Nomad outfit?
That's the black one, right? Like
that's the black one with like the deep V-neck. Like we're talking Namor level deep V-neck.
Yes,
because he hangs out with Namor in this set of issues, and they both are almost wearing the same thing.
And this is in the 70s, which makes sense stylistically why that would be the case. Yeah.
His shock of blonde hair is also poking out of the top. He's got the like almost like the Gambit like head like hair popping out, but like it's but it's more of a mask. Anyway, this is when she starts using more like poison darts. But she doesn't, there's no reference in any of the stuff I've done that she has any sort of poison powers.
Okay.
She also gets defeated and dies at the end of this one. She's caught in a building that's on fire. So the next time we see her is Marvel Team Up number 83, where they say she got caught in a pocket of like, there was no heat, and that's how she escaped. So that's... She dies in 2 appearances and retconned as well. I don't know if it's retconned, but it feels like...
It is a retcon.
It feels like a retcon.
I think it's so interesting because, like, I mean, I don't know how much they do with her outside of it, but she doesn't really feel like the character that deserves to be retconned. Like, they haven't really done a ton.
Oh,
with
you know,
her.
we should bring her back again. We should bring her back.
Right, it's weird.
The next one is in Marvel Team Up number 83. Still black hair. This one she's taking on Spider-Man as opposed to Captain America.
Huh.
It's a Marvel Team Up, so each issue, like, other people show up. Like, Black Widow's in there, but Black Widow's not herself. She thinks she's a school teacher named Nancy Rushman. And Shang-Chi shows up, too. Once again, 70s, very 70s. But this one is very much a big terrorist attack where she's hijacked a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier and wants to crash it into Congress.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But this is the first time she's hung out with the Silver Samurai.
Got it. Okay, so this explains how she ends up in Uncanny X-Men a little.
I want to say that I think one of her superpowers is retcon, though, because Silver Samurai has this, like, teleporting ring that he got in a previous issue. But that previous issue was he got it off of John Belushi. No joke, John Belushi.
Okay.
On the set of Saturday Night Live.
On SNL?
Yes,
canonically?
there is a whole canonically SNL comic book where Silver Samurai gets the ring. And in this Marvel Team Up book, they like show that like it's the type of thing where if you go back and read the one book, it's just Silver Samurai. And in this one, they're like, and Viper was right next to him. Okay. You're like, no, he wasn't. All right, whatever. Viper is fighting Black Widow, who's finally realizing who she is on top of one of the helicarrier like blades. And Viper gets knocked off into oblivion, and like we just don't hear anything about it. We don't see what happens to her, nothing. She just shows up in the next issue. We don't even talk about it.
Once again, saved by the retcon, I guess. But I mean,
right.
Interesting.
So next is in Spider-Woman, number 42, still in the 70s. She is still hanging out with the Silver Samurai. This one is only interesting. If you don't know, Spider-Woman is Jessica Drew. And she used to be an agent of Hydra at one point. They were trying to mind control her, if I recall. Mm-hmm. But whatever. She's back to being Jessica Drew. And in this set of issues, there's a bunch of discussion about how Spider-Woman and Viper look very similar and sound very similar. And it's very uncanny how they look like each other.
Oh, no.
So we get to the end of the set of issues. Like, she keeps poisoning Jessica and she keeps fighting them all and whatever. You get to the end, and there's a point where Silver Samurai has put Spider-Woman in a Viper outfit, and everyone thinks she's Viper.
Okay.
Yeah, like, she pretends, and everyone falls for it, and they're like, oh, it's because I'm your mother.
Oh, my God.
So her name is actually Miriam Drew, not I don't think they've given her a name at this point in the comic books. They've never said her name. They've only done Madame Hydra and Viper, and then they called her Miriam Drew. And I was like, wow, this is big stuff. And so I wrote it all down. Then we jump to Captain America number 281, and they're like, psych, that wasn't true.
We changed our minds.
We didn't want it. And I believe in Captain America is the first time she has green hair.
Okay.
Spider-Woman's logic behind it, why Viper thinks she's Jessica's mom, is due to Morgan Le Fay.
Oh no, Excalibur stuff.
She showed up in like 2 panels of the Spider-Woman issue. So like, okay, that's a fine answer, but like, yeah. It's she just feels like she's part of like dropped plot lines early on.
It really does sound like it.
So yeah, so she fights Captain America, poisoning him a bunch, like, but this is the first time where it's like really messing with someone's memories and their perception of things, and it seems like trying to brainwash with the poison, because like Spider-Woman got poisoned, but it was more of like to make her weak more so than anything. But Captain America is in this issue, it gets even weirder because Bucky shows up, and in all these Captain America issues, when Rick Jones was being Bucky, he was like, I can't let another sidekick die. So he was being real protective of Rick Jones. So when this guy shows up and he's like, I'm Bucky, he's like, what are you talking about? And he like fights him and stuff, because he's like, people have done this before. People have tried passing off Bucky and coming up on me with him, like through him. Turns out, you remember how I said there was a Captain America between when he got frozen and unfrozen?
Yes.
He also had a Bucky, and this is that Bucky. This is 1950s Bucky.
Okay.
Apparently, I know this isn't X-Men, I just am fascinated by it. Apparently, the 1950s Captain America was obsessed with Steve Rogers. He was a teacher. He even got plastic surgery to look like Steve Rogers. I think this is all retcon to like explain why there's 1950s Captain America.
Yeah.
And he recruited this Bucky, whose name is actually Jack Monroe.
Okay,
so Jack Monroe dresses up as Bucky in this Captain America issue with him, and then later becomes Nomad.
That makes sense. Okay.
I don't know how long any of this lasts, but
it's there.
Regardless, that is part of the Viper run, is she keeps hitting these like big issues. It feels like these big bombshell issues of both Captain America and Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
Which I would have never guessed.
She is also we talked about this. We're talking about Uncanny X-Men 172. That's the Wolverine Mariko wedding like issue, just to be like clear.
She's just hanging out in milestone issues.
In huge issues, and yet nothing. So I think this is why
she doesn't have much to do.
No, almost not. I mean, like usually she's poisoning people or like so they can't move. That's happening to like that happens to Kitty Pryde. It happens to Wolverine. Yeah, like she's not really there. Like she's with Silver Samurai, and then later when she becomes her own villain with Wolverine, this like changes a touch. It's something. Let's jump into X-Men. Let's talk very quickly. So going back to the 80s, in 1983, that we have her appearance in 172 and 173 of Uncanny X-Men. So that's what we already talked about. This is the Mariko wedding, gets broken up. They can't get married, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. Then she's gone from X-Men for a little bit. And the next major storyline that I would say that she's involved in is actually in Wolverine number 125 in 1998.
Whoa.
That is a very long time. Yeah. Now, Could it be that there are issues with Viper in between in X-Men that maybe I just missed? Or, I mean, it's always possible, but I'm going to be pretty honest. I would say, I think there's one issue that she shows up technically in Wolverine number 0 in 1997, but that's not like a major appearance, so I'm not counting it. I mean, I don't mean just like one panel. I mean, like, does she have something to do? I don't think so, because she's in a lot of Iron Man and stuff during this time. Yeah. So it's really interesting to me that she's been in Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America.
So much Captain America. I mean, if she was Madame Hydra and she's hanging out with the Serpent Society, I'm not surprised by so many Captain America appearances.
It's the other ones that are a little strange. So in this issue of Wolverine, she's actually in a couple of them. There's a little mini storyline that goes on here because it is the eventual marriage of Viper and Wolverine. Did you know they were married?
Wait, what?
Yes, they were. Viper and Wolverine were married. There's an entire issue that is from the point of view of the one I'm talking about right now. It's from the point of view of Jubilee. And it's this Australian era X-Men, if that puts it in any context. She has brainwashed Jessica Drew, Psylocke, the Phoenix, Tiger, Rogue, and Yukio. She's brainwashed all of them with poison to hunt down Wolverine. And so this whole issue, it's called Logan's Run, which I think is a great name for the issue.
Nice.
It's where Jubilee is trying to, like, and Kitty Pryde are trying to protect Logan from basically all of these women hunting him down on behalf of Viper. And you don't know it's Viper, I don't think, at first, but there are signs because every single one of those women are in like full green outfits. Like they look like Viper.
Awesome.
It's very cool. All of that, they hunt him down, and it's all to bring him to talk to her, because this is how Viper interacts with people. And he gets really, obviously Wolverine gets really mad because at the end he does, like, Kitty kind of saves him and he's like fighting Viper, and she was like, hey, look, listen, I picked these people because I knew you wouldn't kill them and they probably wouldn't want to kill you, and they knew where you were, so I needed to get you here. And it was to call in a favor to marry her. I would say this is also another dropped plot line, I think, with Viper, because so they get married. They legitimately get married in the next issue, 126 of Wolverine. But what's happening is she's calling in a favor from when, like, when they knew this other woman named Seraph, who, like, owned this bar in Madripoor that Wolverine was romantically involved with. When I saw this, I was like, who? I've never heard of this person before, like, honestly. And it makes sense because I don't read a lot of, like, solo Wolverine. So I was like, oh, okay. But basically, Seraph was one of the women who has died at the claws of Sabretooth in his desire to punish Wolverine.
That sounds right.
One in a very long line of women. Viper is friends with all of them. And so this is pre-Madame Hydra. They say this specifically in this issue in 126. So, like, before all of the Captain America stuff, her and Wolverine and this woman named Seraph are, like, friends in this bar in Madripoor, and, like, she's a freelancer basically. And Viper saves Wolverine, but Seraph dies with her wounds or whatever, but they're all, like, kind of friends, and Logan owes her a favor, and so she calls it in for this wedding. So that's what, like, these issues are about, except that right after they get married, literally at the altar, when they both say I do, she gets gutted, Viper does, by Sabretooth, and so does the officiant. The officiant's like toast. And Viper only lives because Kitty Pryde, the only witness to the wedding, because all of the ladies who were being mind controlled, including Jean Grey, were very upset that they were getting married and had left already. It's this drama. It was so juicy. It was such a good, fun run. She phases Viper so she doesn't die to Sabretooth's attacks. And then you find out this is, the point at which Sabretooth now has adamantium. So this is when they added it to him. This is the reveal. And the other is that this is when Wolverine is bone claws and does not have really his healing factor and adamantium anymore. And so things go awry here because Sabretooth shows up and they're fighting him and stuff like that. But like, it's a really interesting run because basically Wolverine gets like toast. He gets like beat up by Sabretooth, as he sometimes is known to have done. He gets saved by Kitty Pryde, and so then it becomes like a Wolverine trying to save Kitty Pryde storyline. And then it kind of drops the Viper stuff, to be honest. It's like a very strange thing because it was like set up with like the marriage of Viper and Wolverine, and then it becomes like Kitty Pryde Sabretooth Wolverine story, and they kind of forget about Viper in this run and their marriage. The only thing is back at the end of the issue when they're going to kill Sabretooth, Kitty Pryde saves him. So Kitty Pryde saves Sabretooth from being murdered by Viper. There are reasons for this. Sabretooth actually, like, Hydra shows up and the Hand shows up, and so then Sabretooth ends up teaming up kind of with them to defeat these other bad guys. So there's some stuff going on there. It ends with Viper being furious at both Kitty Pryde and Wolverine for saving Sabretooth because she says, like, he killed Seraph, he killed my friend, so the woman that Wolverine was in love with, and you guys saved him. If you ever step foot in Madripoor again, you next time I see you, you're done, toast. And literally the end of that issue is her sitting on her throne in Madripoor and then the wanted posters of Shadowcat and Wolverine around Madripoor. All this to say, they're still married. And they stay married. Yeah. No, they stay married, and it comes back
really?
up. Yes, it comes back up until
I just assumed it was dropped.
It was not. So like the storyline with her is dropped, right? Like it becomes a Sabretooth storyline, and it seems like they kind of forget about it until Wolverine 168, which is Bloodsport. I think that's correct. And so like there is a point at which Wolverine goes and like gets his debt paid basically and is like, hey, you need to just divorce me or whatever. And she agrees, but she agrees under the threat of death. It's like complicated. Sure. There's like an Ogun comes back and
of course he does.
He's possessing her, and Wolverine's like, oh, do you think I won't kill her? Because I absolutely will. And then he just stabs her, and so while she's dying, he's like, are we divorced? And she's like, no, you just stabbed me. And he's like, well, I guess I'm not getting you a doctor then, because I'm gonna be single one way or the other. And so she divorces him. So this is their relationship. It's actually kind of fun. I'm sad that like it doesn't really go anywhere. It's like it's a very similar relationship to Yu-Gi-Oh in a lot of ways.
Is it mostly in Wolverine comics then?
It is almost exclusively in Wolverine comics.
See, I feel like that's the thing. I think Wolverine comics, the more I've been reading them, the more I'm realizing they're sort of their own thing in the way of the stuff that happens only is affecting other Wolverine storylines in the Wolverine solo series. They don't like to bleed those over into the X-Men lines.
It's just too much, I think. Like,
it's not a critique. It's just an observation that like nothing. Yeah. So like it's. I guess it's more of if you don't want to read Wolverine books, that's okay because the stuff that happens in Wolverine books stays in Wolverine books.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Like everything kind of reverts to, plot lines will just be like, it'll be done. And then you like Wolverine will see this person again later or whatever. I just really think it's interesting. Like Viper basically kind of ends up being this evil villain that they occasionally have to work with. She becomes like Mystique in that way, but like
it sounds very
popular.
Mystique.
Yeah, extremely. Like, I mean, this is the problem I think with Viper. She ends up overlapping with a lot of already existing characters. As a love interest, she overlaps almost exclusively with Yukio. Like, they have very similar, like, kind of stories. They're both, like, kind of assassins.
Especially if they're both in Japan.
Yeah, I will say that Viper does end up moving more to Madripoor because after those original
and that's
issues,
probably why.
Yeah, because it's hard. And then when Yukio is in that run as like one of the people being possessed, she's barely in it. Probably for very similar reasons, because like they take up a lot of the same space. Some other fun facts about her hatred of Sabretooth, that is consistent. I really enjoy that. I do think so. I think the writers keep that. There is a run, a more recent run in the 2000s, the 2010s. She has Sabretooth chained up because she's poisoned him. And if he's a good dog, he gets his antidote. And if he's a bad dog, he dies. That's a quote. It's very interesting. So like, you had all these stories about Sabretooth and her wanting to kill him and like her being mad, and that's like kind of leads to like the split and then the eventual divorce of her and Wolverine or whatever. But she still hates Sabretooth and she means it. And so like there's this whole part of that comic book where like that happens. Wolverine does save him from this. They don't explain how they cured the poison. It seems like vital, but whatever. Viper just disappears, like, because Lady Deathstrike shows up. This is during the era when people were hunting down like all the people with adamantium in their bodies. So like they do a team up, but Viper disappears. And let me tell you, is that not the absolute like story of Viper, which is like, wow, this person seems kind of interesting and kind of compelling, and they're in the mix of all these major storylines, and then they just slip away into the night and we never reference them again until the next major thing happens.
Yep, I absolutely agree. In the movie, she's a scientist, she's a doctor, and like nowhere have I ever seen her be a doctor. She's always just like the leader of something.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's the one was like, I've got a plan and we're going to do this thing. And everyone's like, I think she's gone a bit far, but okay. So that doesn't exist. I do have the question of like, because everything I read, she uses poison, but it's like, you know, it's a separate thing. Does she herself create poison that you have read?
Okay. I don't think so, but I have one example which may indicate otherwise. I will say she is immune to poisons. So that is fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there is one part in Spider-Woman where she attacks with her bioelectric like blasts, her venom blasts, they call them in Spider-Woman, and they didn't affect Viper. So I wasn't sure if they use weird words because it's like the 70s, 80s, and they don't quite know what they're talking about. So I don't know if they call them those venom blasts or it doesn't, whatever. Anyway, it didn't affect her. Could have been, but they also were like, maybe it's the suit, but I wasn't sure if it was the suit or a power or whatever. They kind of were vague about it.
Yeah, it's her power for sure. They mentioned that in the Wolverine solo run, that there's like an explicit debrief about who Viper is in that one, which is probably the most useful. And they do mention that she's immune to poisons.
Okay.
She generally is always using some sort of weapon, but in the X-Men comics or X-Men related comics, they're never talking about like blasts. It's just kind of like she put poison on this knife. Like she put poison on these darts. She put poison in these syringes. She's got like a gas canister of poison. It's not.
There was a hologram in a room, and it was poisoned when Captain America went into it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's kind of like she's putting things there.
Lots of traps.
Lots of traps. I find the poison mind control strange. Because it's so in that, again, this is that Wolverine run. It is, you have Psylocke who's there and the literal Phoenix.
Yeah.
And like you're controlling, and it seems unlikely to have just, I mean, it is, I guess, just poison. Like
that's the thing, right?
But it like,
feels
can
like
you
it's
poison
more
the Phoenix?
like a biological thing than it is a psychic thing.
Yeah, but like it also feels like, how are you maintaining that? Like, because, you know, she's is in Madripoor when she sends all of the women to go hunt down Wolverine. And I'm like, how do you keep the Phoenix poisoned long enough to do that without it being like cow power related?
I wouldn't even go that far. It's like, because like what I would imagine it's more like the fear gas from Batman, where it's like you give it to them and their reactions are going to kind of be catered toward themselves. It's where do you get that control? That's the interesting part, is that she's poisoning these people and able to brainwash them essentially.
Right. Yes, exactly. It's the brainwashing. It's like, it's not just being poisoned. It's also just like, how do you, that's what I guess I mean by control, right? Because like you have two major psychics. You have Psylocke in that group and you have Jean Grey, who is literally the Phoenix. They don't call her Jean Grey. She's called the Phoenix. So like, it's the Phoenix. So it's like, how are you managing a kind of like poison brainwash of a galactic power who is
a cosmic entity?
Jean Grey's body.
Yeah.
But like
but still.
It felt power-ish. And I was like, that was the one time that I was like, does she have poison powers? But it's never explicitly said. So I think we can only assume that it's on her weapons.
Because in this movie, she is poisonous. She is immune to poison, but she is also poisoned at the touch.
Because
that is all malarkey. That's all comic book malarkey.
That's comic book malarkey. That's not true. At least not in the sense of like, if someone like got poisoned from touching her, it's because she put poison on her body, not because she's like inherently poisonous.
Yeah, I almost feel like
I don't even know.
Yeah, right. I think over time she has gained an immunity to poison. Like, I think that would be my logic, that she uses it so much that she's gained over time an immunity. Because like in this movie later, spoiler alert for the third act, she sheds her skin. Like it gets weird at the end, and it's nothing. There are so many snake powered people. They made a society of them. And she doesn't have snake powers. She does throw some snakes at people later. That is a thing she's been throwing around. But it's not like, that's not her power.
No, definitely. I've never even seen her throw a snake. I've seen her use snake emblems.
It's in the early, like one of the Captain America ones that I was reading. Yeah,
they definitely pull back from that, like in the X-Men appearances.
She's more of a
really
person.
What she is. Yeah, exactly. And I actually think she's quite fun. Because she is a bad guy. Like she
also has a great look.
Yes, the full green getup, like the commitment to the green like snakeskin bit is very great. Yeah. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I like it. I think Viper is a better title than Madame Hydra.
I do too.
When she gets in the book, she pops on the panel and it's great. And you're like, ooh, she looks like somebody who has power and authority and like is dangerous.
Yeah. Her outfit is actually so fun and compelling and unique that they put 6 of these other women in that outfit. And I knew, even though Viper wasn't on the cover, I was like, there's a Viper thing. Like, this is Viper. This is Viper's outfit that all of them are wearing. Even though they're not wearing the exact same outfit, it's like, it's very distinctive. I don't know how. I think it's the color. I think it's the texture on her outfits usually. I think they're pretty good.
When we get to later in the movie and she puts it on, we're gonna have to make a comment about it.
Touch on that, that'd be great. But yeah, I mean that's like it. I mean she has a couple more recent appearances, but it's like there's some stuff that's like post Wolverine's death, like trying to get his body back. It's got other stuff. It's not super interesting, to be honest. I would love to see her return, but. You know, I didn't really see her in the Krakoan era.
No, well, because she's not a mutant, you know, and it's like, and we're messing around with Orcus, so
she's not there.
We're not Hydra. We're not Serpent Society. We're not Serpent Squad even.
Yeah, I would be really interested to see if I don't see anything on Unlimited, but I'd be curious if anybody out there who reads more Marvel broadly outside of just X-Men, if she's been in anything recently, because I'm surprised that she kind of just peters out. I get that maybe she's not so much in the X-Men anymore because they've got other stuff going on, but I'm surprised she's not in like the Captain Americas, the, you know, Jessica Drew runs and stuff.
She might be.
Yeah. I don't know. I if anybody knows, I'd be curious. But according to Unlimited, no. But they're not the most trustworthy source.
Well,
so
yeah,
like, you
their
gotta
stuff's
look at
not
those.
great.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's all I've got.
Yeah, just according to a quick search, it looks like yes, Black Widow and Spider-Woman, somewhat in like in the last 5 years.
In the last 5 years, okay, that makes sense because like they're both involved in the like Wolverine Viper like wedding issue, so that makes sense. Okay, but yeah, that's it. That's what we got for Viper.
Right.
She's fun, but not like vital. But hey, she's out there. If you're reading Wolverine, you'll see her. So
Sure.
All right, I'm Stasia.
I'm Producer James.
And we'll see you for the next 10.